Hello from Sweden. This year we decided we wanted to take a New Year's trip with our kids, and through a whole bunch of randomness, we ended up here in Stockholm, Sweden, and let me tell you, we have zero regrets. It is currently snowing and has been snowing all day, and we've just been sitting inside watching this beautiful snowstorm and enjoying a relaxing New Year's Day. But we have been out and about a lot this week, and it is rather chilly here and windy, so I thought that I would share how we dress our kids and how we packed to dress our kids for a Nordic winter. So if you are planning or thinking about planning to travel to a Nordic country this winter, or even somewhere like Alaska, Canada, Iceland, anywhere that is cold, make sure you follow along and we will show you how we dress our kids to go out and stay warm during those cold winter days. So we are going to start with the girls, and the first thing they both have on is a base layer. Haley's is from Costco and Delaney's is from Amazon. This was just a comfy bottom layer to help keep them warm, but also could act as a shirt if we needed to strip them down a few layers once we arrived at our destination. After the base layer, they both wore a pair of wool socks. They got these as Christmas presents this year, and they were a huge help in keeping their feet warm on cold days exploring the city. On top of our full base layer, each girl wore jeans and a sweatshirt or sweater every day. We have found that jeans keep them warmer than leggings on cold days, so we brought 2 pairs for each girl. They also both had 2 sweatshirts and a sweater to rotate through during our trip. Next up, they wore snow pants, and we are so glad we packed these. Not only for the cold, snowy weather we had for most of our trip, but they are also a huge help in protecting them from the cold wind. We wore these every day, and it is worth every inch of space they take up to pack these for cold weather destinations. Their final layer on their feet were their snow boots. Both girls have a pair that is fleece lined, and we had no complaints about sore or cold feet during our whole trip. I know that would have been a totally different story if we had just stuck with tennis shoes, so we are so glad we brought their boots. And then our final layer for the girls was their winter coats, hats, gloves, and scarves. We had brought gloves for them, but ended up finding these incredibly warm mittens from a gift shop on our first day and knew that it would be so worth the investment. Hats are also obviously necessary for warmth, especially with the snow, and the scarves were a huge lifesaver on windy days. Also for winter coats, try to make sure that they are as windproof as you can get them, and having a hood can make a huge difference when needing a little extra warmth. Overall, we are so happy with how we packed and dressed the girls, and very rarely did we get complaints about being cold, which I consider a huge win. The weather currently, as we are getting ready to leave, is 22 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a sweet girl. Hi. And before we wrap up, I wanted to share what I packed for myself to wear so that you don't forget to pack well for yourself too. First off, I started with a pair of wool socks, and these definitely do the trick for keeping my feet warm. In total, I packed 3 pairs of these longer socks to rotate through during our trip. Next, I put on my merino wool t-shirt and fleece-lined jeans. I generally run pretty warm, so I opt for short sleeves instead of long sleeves for my base, but just make sure you think about what will work best for you when you're packing for yourself. Also, I bought these fleece-lined jeans back in 2018 before a winter trip to Minnesota, and they have been well worth the investment. Although they are definitely more of a low-rise option, and I was really missing my high-rise jeans on these cold winter days. Then on top of my merino wool t-shirt, I wore either a sweatshirt or a sweater. For this trip, I packed 2 sweaters and 2 sweatshirts and rotated them throughout the week. Next, I wore my Columbia boots, and these things are amazing. They are so comfortable, kept my feet warm, and they're waterproof. They have been a great investment for our many adventures and snowy days at home, but I highly recommend finding a pair of waterproof and comfortable boots. Trust me, your feet will thank you. And then just like the girls, I had a hat, gloves, and a scarf. The gloves I also bought on the first day of our trip, and they were so warm and cozy during all of our snowy days. Then the scarf I chose to bring was a blanket scarf so that in case the girls were super chilly, I could give it to them as a blanket, but it definitely served its purpose in keeping my neck and face warm. Finally, I have my LL Bean jacket. I invested in this before our 2022 trip to Iceland, and it has been well worth it. I like that it is longer so that it keeps my back and hips warm, and personally, I've had no complaints about this jacket, but as long as you find one for yourself that you're sure will keep you really warm and is windproof, you should be plenty warm on your trip. All right, so that is how we dress our kids and ourselves to survive these cold Nordic winter days. Obviously, kids are kids, and they're still gonna say they're cold, especially specifically their face. That's the biggest complaint, is that their cheeks are cold. But overall, we felt like we've done a really good job. Their feet have stayed warm, their legs have stayed warm. Bringing the snow pants was a huge lifesaver. So again, just pack in layers and invest in some quality stuff, whether that's socks or a good jacket or snow pants. Some kind of investment going into your trip really is going to be helpful. So although I know it can be kind of hard to spend money on stuff for your kids when they're growing so quickly, some of those investments are worth it, especially if you're planning a trip like this. So again, I hope that actually seeing what we put our kids in is helpful for you so that you can get an idea of what to pack for your kids. And if you enjoyed this video, we would really appreciate it if you could give it a like, or if you have any other questions about the certain brands we bought or what went into our decision making for each of these layers, please make sure you leave us a comment down below. I'll be happy to share any experiences or tips that we have from our trip. And if you want to follow along to see more of this Sweden trip, make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can get notified when we post new videos. And you can also follow us on Instagram @Explore, as well as Facebook _Explore too. And we will see you in the next one.